the death of paper airline tickets on this episode of Travel Television. On Web Tips, we'll visit safetravel.gov, a one-stop site to get answers to your travel safety questions. Sleeping under the stars, Travel Television will check out some new high-tech campers. Building a new community for musicians in New Orleans on this episode. All of these stories on this episode of Travel Television. And now, on to our first stop.
Mardi Gras parades add flavor to Cajun country. But these floats were put together with hurricane debris, and clouds linger over recovery efforts.
This is where you're going to see the devastation.
Volunteers from First United Methodist Church in Hartwell, Georgia, came to help.
That porch ain't got no house.
These teens saw little effect from the deadly storm other than higher gas prices where they live. But here, they faced reality.
I didn't think it was going to be too bad, and then we went across that bridge, and there was nothing there.
You really can't experience it unless you really come and see it.
The students spent their own pocket money to repair homes.
If you have a bunch of people working together, you can overcome a lot of things.
1,000 high school students from United Methodist churches across the country are volunteering this summer for Project NOAA, New Orleans Area Hope.
I kind of underestimated them earlier. Didn't bring enough sheetrock.
They're repairing homes for folks who felt abandoned.
A bunch of teenagers in your house working on it. These families catch their energy and catch their emotion and feel hope and feel alive again.
This woman rebuilt her home after a fire. 4 months later, it was flooded by Katrina. She's still in a FEMA trailer.
What can I say? It's just wonderful to see them doing this.
During the day it feels hot, but it's a really good feeling.
Project NOAA is a living history lesson.
I hope that as teenagers go back from here, their lives will be different, because I know that the people's houses that they work on lives will be different.
On June 1st, 2008, paper airline tickets become a thing of the past. The International Air Transport Association, IATA, is the international airline trade group made up of 240 airlines from more than 140 nations around the globe. IATA provides the world accreditation of travel agents authorized to sell airline tickets globally, except for the United States, where this is done by the Airline Reporting Corporation. Paper tickets in the U.S. trace their origin to 1964, when Braniff Airlines created an area settlement plan that authorized travel agencies to sell tickets. Electronic ticket sales surfaced in 1995, and the internet has changed the way most Americans buy their airline tickets. Almost 98% of all tickets are purchased electronically in the United States.
To talk about e-tickets, I'm joined by Alan Moutan from ARC and Steve Lott from IATA. Steve, how are these new rules about e-tickets going to affect travelers, and why now, and is the world ready?
Well, this has been a project that's been in the works for many years now. We're actually nearing the end of this marathon, the end of this project, where, you know, it was only just a few years ago where throughout the world it was a very low percentage of travelers that had electronic tickets. Now, worldwide, we're about 93%, as a global average, 93% of travelers have electronic tickets. So this has been a long process. It's been an industry-wide initiative. And really, it's all about simplifying the travel for passengers and making it easier not only for travelers, but also for the industry, and saving the industry some money. It adds flexibility for the traveler. It makes it easier. They don't have to worry about lost paper tickets anymore. It gives them a lot more flexibility when traveling. Not only they don't have to worry about a lost paper ticket, but it allows them to change flights easier and to change their itinerary and things like that. So I think the world is ready. We've been working on this, as I said, for quite some time, working with the airlines, working with travel agents, working with travelers and increasing awareness. So I think, you know, the world is ready, and for many people they won't even notice the change, and for others I think it's it's been a work in progress, and people are seeing the benefits of electronic tickets.
Alan, how about electronic tickets here in the United States?
Well, here in the United States, it's, I don't want to call it a non-story, but it is a non-event insofar as we are essentially an all e-ticketing society here. Through our system at 98% e-ticketing, we are essentially an all e-ticketing system. already. We began processing e-ticketing as early as 1995. So we settle transactions through the travel agency system in the United States. Again, at 98%, we are already there. It is the existing paradigm as far as settlement and ticketing is concerned. It isn't going to be any monumental change once we reach June of this year, when e-ticketing is going to be the standard on a global basis. It is already the standard in the United States. It is the way that the population travels in this country. It is the accepted way to do it, and it's the way that people prefer to do it. The numbers speak for themselves.
Well, with e-tickets, what are you able to present to authorities when arriving in countries that have a requirement of proof or validation that you have a return ticket?
Several years ago, that was a concern. For security purposes, a lot of times you needed to present some sort of proof of travel in some countries just to get in the airport. Places like Russia and places like Africa, and really pockets throughout the world. But as an association that represents airlines around the world, we worked with local authorities and shared with them what we're doing and how they should adopt their security procedures. So what we recommend now is just bring a receipt of purchase is really would really cover it, and I think most authorities are willing to accept that at the door. If you show some sort of proof of purchase, it'll get you in the door and allow you to check in and get your boarding pass. So we really haven't seen that as a challenge anymore. A couple of years ago it was, but now again, as most people travel electronically with an electronic ticket, really any sort of receipt or proof of purchase would do the trick.
In the United States, there's, especially during the winter time, there's an awful lot of flights that are canceled. What happens if you are transferring between airlines when your flights are canceled and you're traveling with an e-ticket?
Not a problem these days. Over the last several years, in fact, airlines have gotten terribly sophisticated about how they're able to transfer electronic records between each other. Years ago, it was a growing issue. There wasn't an issue between carriers in that they were able to develop their own e-ticket databases, but these databases needed, when necessary, to communicate with each other through what we call interline agreements. These are agreements between individual air carriers. These databases needed to communicate with each other. That is essentially not an issue today. Interline agreements between e-ticket databases allow them to communicate quite readily with each other, between alliance partners and between other interline agreements between carriers themselves. Not a problem.
How can travelers ensure they get credit if they change their flight plans or have to cancel their flight and need to rebook in the future? With e-tickets, is there going to be a problem that you foresee with that?
Not a problem. Credit is simply being, as Steve alluded to earlier, having some sort of record of payment. If you have a record of payment, which is certainly part of that e-ticket record, then you are able to get credit if you need to refund that or exchange that document. It's all part of the record. So as long as that record exists in that e-ticket database, credit is readily available, assuming, of course, that's a refundable transaction under the circumstances.
The United States, of course, is one of the lead countries in terms of adopting e-ticket technology. What are some of the areas of concern that would still exist after the June 1st changeover to all e-tickets if you're traveling internationally?
Sure. No, as you said, I mean, the U.S. carriers have really taken the lead on this, and some other regions have been slow to follow. One interesting case has been Russia. Until about a year ago, there was actually a law on the books. There was a federal law in Russia that did not allow e-tickets. The government actually prohibited this. So as an association, we lobbied the government and worked hard with the government and said, realize, what, the rest of the world is moving towards e-tickets. This is nothing that you should prohibit. The government agreed and they changed the laws. So because of that, Russia was slow to start. They're about 55% today e-ticket, but they're moving quickly. So it's our hope that by June 1, they'll be certainly close to 100%. There's also pockets within different African countries, whether it's because they haven't upgraded their computer systems, they don't have advanced computer systems or things like this. But again, we're not trying to have a contentious relationship. We're trying to help. I mean, we have workshops all over the world. We work with travel agents, we work with airlines to try to help everybody along. Because at the end of the day, the more airlines that that reach the goal and offer electronic ticketing and are able to process through our system, it really helps everybody.
All righty. Well, I'd like to thank you both very much. We hope that June 1st comes and goes and everybody will be able to travel successfully on their e-tickets. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Safety First at safetravel.dot.gov is a website run by the U.S. Department of Transportation to make your travel experience as safe and easy as possible. Safe Travel allows you to find detailed safety information on aerosols, computer batteries, and a host of other products and regulations that might affect your packing and planning. Safe Travel was initiated to help passengers be a part of the solution, asking the average citizen to take a few basic precautions and enhance the safety of the whole transportation system. Safe Travel has become the go-to site for in-depth information and easy-to-read charts. It links to other government sites like TSA and the National Transportation Safety Board, and the Airline Pilots Association and TravelSense.org. Safe Travel is a one-stop site to get answers to your safety travel questions.
Absolutely amazed at the number of volunteers who have come, who have seen a need and continue to come. I did not know how to respond to a natural disaster, and I am awestruck, stunned, amazed, shocked, thrilled that so many people have come and continue to come.
Hi there, my name is Marla Schofer. I'm Karen Krausen.
I'm Alex Strong.
Delise Townsend, and this is my daughter, Susan Shobin.
One of the largest projects in the Upper Ninth Ward's rebuilding effort is the Musicians Village Habitat for Humanity neighborhood. The New Orleans Habitat for Humanity affiliate was founded in 1983 and had built 12 to 14 houses each year, totaling 160 new homes before the hurricane. Now, since the storm, Habitat has stepped up and completed over 70 houses, with 200 now under construction. 50,000 people have traveled to the region to volunteer in the village. Now, the preservation of New Orleans is not simply a matter of physical reclamation. It is also an effort to sustain and strengthen the city's cultural and artistic heritage. Musicians Village was conceived and dedicated to the preservation of New Orleans music and cultural history by providing homes for musicians. The Musicians Village will include over 70 homes, duplexes, and the Ellis Marsalis Center for Music on a site in the Upper Ninth Ward. The seed money for the project came from proceeds from a concert in New York a month after the hurricane. The project was conceived by musicians Harry Connick Jr. and Branford Marsalis and will be dedicated to the education and development of the next generation of New Orleans music enthusiasts and the preservation of New Orleans musical heritage. Interest and enthusiasm for this project continues to flow from the music industry, and musicians regularly support the efforts in the village. Willie Nelson stopped by to see the progress and talk to volunteers. And Travel Television spoke with his band about the significance of the work in the village. Encouraging musicians to return to New Orleans with a home and a place to preserve its musical heritage will continue with the help of volunteers.
The first thing that really surprises me, or surprised me when I came down here, was that it's still so bad. There's still so much to be done. People of this parish are living under unbelievable circumstances. But the second thing that surprised me about being down here was that it takes so little. One person doing one thing, one person on a team of 10 gutting a house, one person serving food to a resident. It's so simple. There's so much to be done, and it really, I think people get overwhelmed and they think, like, what can I possibly do? Come down here. You can do the smallest thing, and it makes such a big difference.
I'm overwhelmed that so many people have come out to help, and I thank God first, for everything that you are doing, and the many people that have come from all over different states through the country to help. It gives me great, it just fills my heart with a lot of joy. It really does.
The classic story about the person who complained they had no shoes until they met somebody who had no feet really fits this context and fits the kind of things that I feel like I've been going through. I just feel a lot more grateful for a lot of small things in the world, and I feel a lot more hopeful because I know how many wonderful and incredible people there are in the world.
I'm not just watching somebody else act, but I'm acting in concert with them, and knowing that this village is going to be providing housing for those that were affected by the storm, put out of their homes, or who normally wouldn't be able to afford a home on their own accord. It makes me feel like I've contributed something back, which makes me feel good.
You see the change every day. You see the excitement in the people that move into these houses, the homeowners that are working here with us, and all the volunteers that are working here. You see all of the kinds of excitement and just the thrill of being able to rebuild something and see it.
There's no place in the world, or very few places in the world, any more dramatic where they can come and make a positive impact and help truly rebuild a great city and a great people.
To help in the Gulf Coast, there's no question. Anyone can do something here. Every little bit helps. I would encourage anyone, not only for the sake of helping the community, but for yourself. There is no better way to feel like you contributed and make yourself feel better than to get down here. Doesn't matter if you fill out forms for people, you can put a roof on a house. I think every little bit helps, and I would encourage everybody to be a part of it.
Like I said, God has blessed us through other people, through everyone that has come out and helping out to help with this project here. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You know, do it all to everyone. And I mean that truly, truly from the bottom of my heart.
To see volunteer stories, go to www.projectkatrinavolunteers.net.
The Great Outdoors on Travel Television.
Okay, my name is Michael Loki and I work with Campa USA. We're the manufacturers of vehicle-dependent expedition equipment. What I'm standing in front of is our expedition vehicle system. You can put it in the back of any pickup truck, and basically it's designed to help support you on a long-distance trip in the backcountry, away from the common things that we like in society and the wild, if you will. And it really, what we're trying to do is fill the niche of adventure travelers who are savvy enough to know where they're going and what they can do and what they can't do, and give them some comfort on their travels. Basically, both of our systems are the Campa EVS and the Campa trailers. We're going to give you your basic creature comforts. You're going to have 40 gallons of water. You're going to have a hot water on-demand heater. You're going to have your cooking utensils all stored and stowed so they won't rattle around, break, or get disheveled. You're also going to have enough living space for you and up to 6 to 8 people. You'll be out of the weather, and they're quite warm. You're also going to have a refrigerator that'll support your perishables, and plenty of cargo room for your dry goods, as well as your equipment and clothing and all the things that we have to take with us when we travel. The EVS is basically it stores all of your equipment inside here in the side loading bin, which then you can use as a table to prepare food or what have you. Then basically you sleep up high, out of the bugs, out of the crud, where you can see animals at a distance. That was originally how the design was from Africa and Australia. This type of stuff is very popular. And that market's really coming to the U.S. now. There's a lot of people that want to get out and recreate on their own and get away from the hard ground. They want to get out and explore the backcountry, but they either have children or they're getting older, and you can only get so far with a backpack. So this gives you the ability to travel over a much greater distance with all the really essential comforts of home, and built in such a way that it'll last for many generations. All right. So with both the Campa all-terrain trailer and the Campa EVS, nature's going to call. And when it does, we offer a small privacy shelter for you to be able to use when you're out recreating. We also have another one that you can use as a shower enclosure for the hot water system. So really everything you have at home, you have when you're away from home. So the mindset behind the Campa all-terrain trailer and the Campa EVS are to give people the creature comforts that they might expect in like an RV type product, but give them the ability to take it out into the wild. Not really give them limitations on where they can go and what they can do. So in both units we incorporate a refrigeration unit. We'll also incorporate 40 gallons of fluid capacity. We'll have an on-demand heating element so we can heat the water. You can take a shower if you like. You've also got quite a large area to camp in. This particular model will comfortably sleep about 6 to 8 people. It's expandable and contractible. You can unzip one of the rooms and use it for a family of 4 quite nicely. Whereas if you bring the other room along, you can have up to, like I said, 8 people. It's also very versatile because in foul weather, you can zip it all down and you can withstand incredible winds, incredible rain, snow, multiple temperatures. But you can also, on a nice day, unzip it and use it like a big sunscreen, so it has that versatility to it. Camp is a company that manufactures military products, so they're all made very ruggedized. In fact, they're built for situations much more than what you would ever wind up getting in, most likely. But it gives you the ability to be very comfortable and travel into very remote backcountry destinations and stay for several weeks at a time, which is getting more popular in the adventure travel industry. So perhaps maybe you'll be on an adventure travel trip sometime and your outfitter will be providing these for you. Well, as we all know, the RV market has sort of replaced the family truckster now, and it's become a very popular recreational device, and there's a large market. What this was really catering to is the niche of people who are looking to get off-road and off the beaten path with their families or with their friends and really get out in the wild and away from the RV park. You can absolutely set these up on a concrete pad and you can plug it into the wall, but what it gives you the ability to do is to get out into your favorite mountain stream or that backcountry hanging lake that you love spending time at and stay out there for 3 to 4 or 5 days or even a month with the comfort that you need for that amount of a stay. It also allows you to bring a lot more equipment and gear with you than you can just typically fit in your vehicle. So bring more people with you and throw one of these in the back, and you'll be able to provide for them while you're out in the backcountry.
Idealist.org is a website that tracks opportunities around the globe. Action Without Borders lists over 62,000 nonprofit and community organizations in over 165 countries who are seeking volunteers, posting job opportunities, or promoting the work they are doing to improve the world. According to their website, over 160,000 people have signed on as members and used this resource as a way to connect with people, organizations, and resources to help build a better world. So if you have the desire to help, check out idealist.org.
Welcome to Mykonos. We're here in the downtown area, which is absolutely bustling with people. What's neat about this island as you approach it is it's very barren and almost like a desert landscape, but it's dotted with these beautiful whitewashed houses and buildings. But when you come into the downtown of Mykonos, it literally comes to life. And that's what really makes this place exciting for both tourists from around the world as well as Greeks themselves. Let's show you Mykonos and take you for a walk around this beautiful downtown. As you cruise through the streets of Mykonos, you'll run into these little traffic jams, but that's okay because you have these wonderful shops literally everywhere you turn. One of the challenges you're going to be faced with, though, is do you take a moment to go into the shop, or do you pull out your camera and take another one of these beautiful photographs? Yeah. Literally, every time you turn, there's a Kodak moment here in Mykonos. So you've had a chance to explore Mykonos, and now you're going to want to relax and watch that sunset as the temperature drops, because you're going to need your energy for the nightlife here in Mykonos.